Hey everyone, how are you? We're back, although I'm just making sure my music is not playing still. Had some music going. How are you all? It is a Saturday night. Danny Mitchell, how are you? James Avery. Should I talk in my news presenter voice for tonight? Snap Crackle Pop, how are you? Yep, another Maria. It's good to see you. DJ, hey buddy. How's it going? I know down near your area, which I won't mention exactly where, but you guys have been having some pretty bad weather. I hope your property's okay. Sherry, hey Sherry, how are you? Mr. Shad Hunter, Mr. Floating Head. Sherry says just woke up for a potty break. It's been one of those days. I hope it's not one of those days. Maybe it can be one of those other days. Yeah, I hope she does well in her new apartment. A prison. Wait, what? Oh, she works in a prison? She'll be fine. She'll be fine. Hey, Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia, actually, I just before I jumped online, I saw your comment from last night. See, people think I don't read the comments, but I do. Mamma Mia said, thank you, Ping, for all your hard work and your humor. Your funny humor cracks me up through your videos. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate it. Start of a long weekend in Canada, is it? What day is it? What holiday? What is it like? I don't know what it would be. Labor Day or something? Hold on, let's find out. What are the Canadians doing? Let's see, before we get started, what is it? What is a civic holiday? No, it's not Labor Day. That's August 31st to September 2nd. Not the August long weekend either for civic. It says here the only long weekend is in July and it's Canada's. What? I don't know. Let's have a look. Easter, Victoria Day. So it has to be Victoria Day. Victoria Day. Hey, it's named after my state. Hey, Victoria Day. Victoria Day. Yeah. I live in Victoria, so there we go. May long weekend, May 24th. 24 a beer reference. Very funny. Nanalana says, I do not have X or any other channels. If you could post in community when you'll be live, I would appreciate that a lot. I will try and use the community function a lot more. It's something I guess we should be doing a lot more than we are. And it probably would be helpful to people who don't have social media. I'm sorry about that. It's I wish there was a program. We need a program where I can just do one message and it posts it to like YouTube, Twitter, maybe Facebook, that type of thing. All right, hey, so in over the weekend here, one, I want to tell you about there's been some civil unrest in New Caledonia. Now, if you don't know where New Caledonia is, it's an island off Australia, but it's a little odd. They speak French. It's a French Polynesian island, I think, and they speak French. I've been there. I've actually been to Noumea. Back in the day, they had a Club Med there, and I went to the Club Med, which was amazing. It's no longer there anymore. But they're having some civil unrest in that country right now, and there's a whole bunch of Australians who are trapped there. So I hope they get off the island soon, and I hope the local people of New Caledonia achieve what they'd like to achieve. I know that they're trying to get more independence and things like that because they're often controlled. I think they're controlled by France, and I think they're trying to get more, decision making on their own issues. So that would be good for them. But I hope all Aussies get back to Australia safe and sound. And then I was traveling through through the news this morning, and I saw something on the Lynn family murders. Now, if you don't know what the Lynn family murders are, not murders, um, it was a murder in Sydney that convicted uncle of the family went in late at night and murdered his brother's family, brother-in-law, his brother-in-law's family in cold blood. Murdered, I think it was the husband and wife, her sister, and their 2 boys. Their daughter was away on a school holiday, I think it might have been in Nemea, but she was away at the time, and one of the most gruesome murders, they were all bashed to death, beaten to death, and I'm gonna show you a little bit of it. Not of the murders, I'm gonna show you a little bit about it, because she's been in the papers, today talking a little bit about it, and I'll explain why when we get closer to the end. Her name's Brenda. She's very, 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 very strong girl. Can't believe she had to deal with this, and some of the details are very disturbing. So, all right, hold on, let me get set up, and let me grab this article. Then I'll turn on the camera and we'll get going. Sorry, I'm slow. It's a Sunday here, and I may be moving at a slower pace than I normally am. Normally, I'd be like, "Hey, I got all the articles, and we're gonna fly," and I'm a little slow today. I need a coffee. Hold on. Daily Telegraph. Yep. We'll just use this one. That's all right. All right. Sorry, you guys got to listen to me setting up. You say, "Ping, you made us wait till 11:30 at night. You got to be more set up than this. You be more set up than this. All right? You be more set up." All right. It says here, and I'll read a bit about this, and I'll tell you a bit of the background too. It says her family was bashed to death by her uncle, but Brenda Lynn is now the one helping others. So she's sort of opened up her own organization to help other people who have been victims of crime and things like this. We'll talk about it at the end. It says Brenda Lynn's family was bashed and killed by her uncle, who also sexually abused her. But in a remarkable show of her strength, she is now the one helping others cope after extreme trauma. Now, that's her uncle there, or her, yeah, uncle-in-law or whatever, married to their sister. Uh, he was convicted of, after it was a really extraordinary set of trials. I think it was like 4 or 5 trials. One stopped because of new evidence. They introduced the sexual abuse allegations, which meant they had to stop and restart the trial for a second time. Then one of the judges got ill, and they had to basically restart the trial again with a new judge. And then one was a hung jury. And then in the final trial, they finally convicted him of the murders after hearing all the evidence and including the sexual abuse allegations. Those sexual abuse allegations were suppressed by the court. They still, to this day, have not been mostly released publicly, and Brenda does not speak about them. In a couple of interviews, she's been asked about it, but she said right now, at this point in time, she's not willing to talk publicly about it. But what is known is what is in the judge sentencing remarks, that they believe that he killed the family so that she would have to go live with him, where he would have closer access to her to sexually abuse her more often. That was the whole motive. There was a little bit of monetary motive. They also took over the family's news agency once the family was killed. But the main part of it was to be closer to her, to be able to sexually abuse her more frequently. And they believe that's what this was all over, which is stunning. Can you believe that? It's someone so infatuated with a family member, one, a child, that you would go to the length of murdering your own family, 5 people, just so she'd have to come live with you so you could have her anytime you wanted. I think that is depraved to the fullest extent. And now we can actually say he has been convicted. He launched an appeal, I think it was a couple of years ago, based on evidence on a stain. The stain was one of the things that actually helped convict him because it contained all members of the victim's DNA. They tried to appeal that, saying that the instructions given to the jury were prejudice, and the appeals basically failed. They said, "Nope, you're not going to get off that easy," and no more appeals for you. The only chance he has, he can go to the High Court in Australia, I think, and try again. But it costs hundreds of thousands, and I don't even know if they have that type of money at all. So, yeah, let's go through it. Give me 1 second. I just want to get a video for you, and then it'll show you a bit of the background to it. Hold on. All right, there we go. Actually, we can probably do it here. Let's do the Daily Telegraph one. That might give you a better.
It took 6.5 years and 4 trials, but in January, Robert Z was finally found guilty of murder. He was handed down 5 life sentences, 1 term for each of the people he killed. It was revealed that Z used a key entrusted to him to silently enter the Lynn home in Epping in the early hours of July 18th, 2009. He used a hammer-like object to kill his brother-in-law, Min Lin, Min Lin's wife, Lily, their 2 sons, Henry, aged 12, Terry, aged 9, and Lily's sister, Irene. The sole survivor in the Lynn family was 15-year-old Brenda, who'd been on a school trip to New Caledonia. As police hunted for the family's killer, Brenda moved in with her uncle Robert and wife Kathy. During the trial, the prosecution claimed the motive for the mass murdering was his sexual obsession with his niece. Ms. Lynn told the court that during that time she was repeatedly sexually assaulted by her uncle, who 2 years later was arrested and charged with 5 counts of murder.
She described the devastating impact of the loss of her entire immediate family on every aspect of her life.
Kathy Lynn always maintained her husband was innocent.
The crime he did not commit, he is a scapegoat.
A bloodstain referred to as Stain 91 during the case was imperative in the trial's success. DNA analysis showed it contained a mixture of at least 4 of the victims' blood. By a majority of 11-1, a jury found Z guilty of the murders. Justice Elizabeth Fullerton said that life sentences were reserved for the most heinous crimes, and this case was heinous in the extreme. Charlotte Mortlock, Sky News, Sydney.
So you can see how brutal that must have been for her, being the only surviving member of her family, and then having to go through 4 different trials to finally get an answer as to what happened to her family. There's also I think it's Spotlight or 60 Minutes. Hold on, I'll look it up for you all. There was a pretty good one that she's in. Yeah, it's called Sole Survivor. I think it is 7 News Spotlight. Hold on. It was released in 2017. Then it had an amendment put on it when the appeal was launched. I'll put it in the chat if you would like to watch it. I can't play it. Channel 7 will bitch slap me with a notification thing about copyright if I try and play it. There it is. It's a pretty good one. It details a lot of things about how she feels and things like a lot of beautiful comments as well in the comment section addressed to her. She says she does read them every now and then. And she said it gives her strength to know that so many people out there are so kind towards her and keep them, a lot of people think about her and hope she's okay. So that's really nice. So here it says Brenda Lynn has been the victim of the worst kind of evil. Her family members bashed to death by an uncle who was abusing her, yet she doesn't let her anger and bitterness define her. And it says here, this is a quote from her, I'm guessing. He doesn't occupy my thoughts very much, to tell you the truth. He is in prison for life. That's enough for me. She said the woman who lost her mother, father, and 2 little brothers and auntie when she was just 15 years old. She said, I know there is nothing more we can do. If someone asked me what more I would want done, I don't know what that answer would be. I think it's a very astute answer. There's not much more that can be done under our law. He's in prison for life. There's not much. Yeah. They say Miss Lynn was on a school trip in New Caledonia in 2009 when her uncle, Robert Z, went on a rampage through her North Epping home, killing her mum, killing her dad, her mum, her younger brothers, Henry and Terry. They were 12 and 9. 12 and 9. And her auntie as they slept. And it says here, I remember my dad gave me his phone and said, make sure you give me a call when you get there to New Caledonia. But me being a teenager, I didn't think, she says, I was too cool. Like, so she was saying, hey, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Why would I call my parents? I'm going to see them in a week. And she said that is one of her biggest regrets is that she didn't, one, tell her dad how much she loved him before she left for that school trip, and two, the fact that she didn't call while, well, like he asked her to while on holidays when she got to the island. She never called, and she, regrets that to this day. She said it's one of her biggest things, which is, I think anyone would have that regret, right? Especially if your family are killed while you're away and you didn't speak to them. So I think we could all understand that. Says here, she said, we had limited access to the internet, but one night we had a bit of spare time at our homestay and jumped on the computer. A friend from school noticed my friend had logged onto Facebook and sent her a link to a news article. They had no words, so they sent the article. When she clicked on the link, I could see a photo of my house. I didn't know how to process what followed. I was 15. 7.5 years later, after months of grueling court appearances where Miss Lynn revealed she had been sexually assaulted, her uncle was convicted and sentenced to 5 consecutive life terms. Good. The New South Wales Supreme Court heard that Z had touched Brenda sexually before the murders, but that his advances grew more intense when she moved in with him and her auntie after the bloodshed. Says the justice described the killings as a single episode of brutal and calculated murderous violence. How any team could come back from that is hard to fathom, but Miss Lynn, now 30, undertaking a doctorate in criminology and rehabilitation in youth justice at Sydney University, says she's learned how to be a survivor and fortunate to have a great support around her. Yeah, she has a bunch of friends from her school days who they, after it first happened, they rallied around her. Her school rallied around her. Her principal did as well. And they all tried to be sort of not her family, but just give her as much support as they could. Her principal did a lot of things that you wouldn't expect a school principal to do. She helped find her an independent lawyer. She helped do a whole bunch of things around the funeral, organized for her friends and classmates and other school students to get to the funerals to show her support from the school network. They really did a lot. That principal deserves a lot of thanks for what she did. But apparently, for a long time, she didn't tell anyone about the sexual abuse, and that's why that first trial got derailed, because she finally felt comfortable enough with her lawyer to tell him about it, and the lawyer just looked at her and was like, we're in the middle of a trial. This is really pertinent information. I'm very thankful that you feel safe enough to share it with me, but, like, this could change the outcome of this trial. Like, we have to tell the judge and get you some sort of, like, witness protection and suppression and hearings and things like that, which they did, and that evidence has been suppressed for the most part. The only reason we know about it is because, in the judge's final address after convicting him, she makes mention of the serialized abuse of her after living in his home. So that's literally the only reason we know about it. The rest of it was suppressed under court order. So they say not many, though, devote their entire life to helping others. Miss Lynn and 4 other sexual assault survivors started up the Survivors Hub in 2021, a non-for-profit organization that relies solely on volunteers and donations. It now boasts 12 meetup locations across New South Wales and Victoria. What a great thing to do, right? Give people a place when they're, been victims of sexual assault, and give them a safe place with other women and possibly, just other people that sort of understand what they're going through. I think it's a great thing. They said here, we realize the power of connecting with other survivors, sitting with them and sharing lived experiences and how important that was for healing. She says we provide meetups in person and online. It's a safe space for people to come together and also ask questions. A lot of the time, they have things they are struggling with, unsure about what to do next. So it's a great space to share that lived experience. I agree with her. It is a great idea, and I hope it gets some funding. It'd be nice if the government chipped in a little bit of funding for it. Says Miss Lynn said the organization desperately needed government funding. There we go. to better support the volunteers, many of whom themselves were victims of sexual violence. She says, for us, it's incredibly important to have something good come out of something so terrible and horrible. One of the good things that have come out of this is my extra families. There's something really beautiful about being in a family that you choose. She says, the wonderful support network around me makes sure I'm never alone for Christmases, birthdays, Mother's Days, all those special events. Without the incredible support system, I do wonder where I would have ended up, and that really scares me. So I'm going to show her website here. This is her website here. So if you are wanting to, if you're a sexual abuse survivor or need support, you may be able to find something here. They have resources and Instagram and meetups. And if you wanted to donate to a great cause like her cause, you can do that too. It would be nice if our federal government gave them some sort of grant to help, you know, there's got to be some sort of funding they could get to, right? I believe that. There would have to be, especially for someone like her who's been through so much. Yeah, I think it's been a long road for her, especially having to go through what, 4 different trials? I mean, who could do that in the first place? I don't think I could. And then have to speak about some of the most traumatizing, 1, the murders of her family, but 2, some of the probably tightest held secrets that she probably had as a 15-year-old was the sexual abuse by her uncle. Imagine having to sit in front of the entire court, even though it's suppressed, and then tell people, a jury, 12 people, what he did to you night after night. I I don't know how that would work. I don't even know how to explain that to you because I've never done that. So I don't know how to do that. Says here, Mamma Mia said she's a strong woman. I think she's had a lot of help, which is great. And I think those people have helped get her to this point. And now she's starting to branch out and do sort of her own thing and finding places for her to heal. And I think this group is definitely a place where she feels she can make a difference. So let me put a photo. This is her now. I haven't seen a photo of her since the court days when she was in court, but there's a newer photo of her. Yeah, it's beyond what I can understand too. I've never done it, so I don't know. I can't begin to even get close to understanding. But I thought this was a great story, especially for a weekend, and I saw it in the paper, and I was like, "Wow, I haven't really heard from her in a number of years." And I was like, "Well, at least this is something good coming out of what happened to her, right?" And she's found something that she believes can make a change. So I was like, "I'll tell you about it." Marilanda said she's beautiful. Yeah, very good looking young woman. Very good looking. It says here, if you watch that documentary, the one I gave to you in the chat, I'll post it again. She actually details the moment she got the phone call after seeing that news article and how her principal and other people rushed her home on the first flight back to Australia and how the police actually rushed them through security at the airport, got them to a private room, and her uncle, her auntie, and her cousin were waiting for them along with the police. She didn't know right then that it was her uncle that had actually caused all these murders, but they were the ones to meet her at the airport at the time. Mamma Mia says she's beautiful. Yeah. I like to focus on her work though, because as a male, I feel like people will be like, "Oh, Ping, that you always just say all the girls are hot." But uh, like to I like to focus on their accomplishments rather than what they look like. But yeah, I do agree with you. She's very, very good looking. Um, yeah, that's it. I think that's about it for this one. I don't want to go too much more into depth into it. But if you have questions, I'm happy to find the answers for you. Yeah, there's Robert. There's Mr. Robert Z, convicted of those 5 murders plus the sexual abuse of his, you know, of Brenda. And there's her family in different times. There's That's Brenda here with brothers Henry and Terry, and there's her parents as well. How nice. There we go. All right, you crazy people talking about beautiful sexual assault survivors. I feel like that is sort of wrong. I do. I sort of feel like that's a double-edged sword. Yeah. Actually, here's some more. I've got another article here. Here's when she was back in court. You can see she looked very distressed. She looks. Here's him. He looks very confused. Why am I here? Am I in a jail? Is this a courthouse? Am I being tried for the murders that I did? Yes, I believe I am. He looks very confused. All right. Yeah, there's that same photo, and there's a forensic van. Now, there is some forensic evidence online of this murder, but it is so brutal. I don't even feel okay, one, describing it, two, telling you about it. This house, the description that one of the police gave was like a horror movie. They said the place was just absolutely drenched in blood and body matter. That's the kindest way I can put it, body matter. Yeah. I don't want to describe too much more than that. It's pretty gross. All right, let's get to some American news. I have American news coming out my wazoo right now. Everyone's been sending me stuff. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Actually, DJ, I will do this one that you sent me. He sent me this one about a rock killing, not rock and roll. Rock and roll didn't kill anyone, but I want to see this. Hold on.
And tonight, state troopers say they are searching for someone who threw a rock through a woman's windshield last night, causing Brittany Ferguson to crash into a Morganton home and killing her.
Tragedy here. Witnesses tell investigators they saw a white pickup truck driving back and forth in the area after this all happened. Now, they say a man was riding in the truck's bed. WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker spent the evening in Morganton and joins us now in the studio. Austin, her family and the community are coming together during this very difficult time.
Yeah, very difficult, as you could say. You know, in a small town like Morganton or anywhere in that area, everybody knows everybody. And if you don't know that person, someone probably knows that you probably have heard of her name at the end of the day. But as the investigation continues, people say they just want justice. Some days, it's hard.
The house can be replaced or repaired.
To find the right words.
Closure. Really, that's just what I want, closure for the family.
And in the silence, Abigail Rumlett.
Oh, by all means, I already have been.
Holds her hands tightly together.
There's power in prayer.
Wednesday night.
I had been at church and was on my way home when I got a call.
Coming home to a scene.
Bad. It was just horrible.
23-year-old Brittany Ferguson driving down Conley Road in Morganton. Investigators saying a rock was thrown through her windshield, killing her, then crashing into Rumlett's home.
Of course, the car was covered up by the time I got here, and
taking a pause to reflect.
Just a bad thing.
Outside the home, Ferguson's family echoing Rumlett.
Confess up, bring closure to the family.
Asking for prayers in this difficult time. An ask in black and white.
They need prayer too.
One the community is doing. This is a very difficult time, like everyone has mentioned. They didn't want to go on camera tonight, but I did text back and forth with her sister, Crystal, and she tells me her sister, Brittany, was, quote, the kindest and most loving and caring sister, aunt, and friend. She had the biggest heart. She loved helping people, and she's asking to keep their family in your thoughts and prayers.
Another death caused by people throwing projectiles or rocks at vehicles. Stop doing it. I mean, if you ever see a child or your child doing it, I hope you discipline them heavily. It seems like such a victimless type thing at the time when you're little. Oh, we cracked a windshield or whatever. Then stuff like this happens, and as adults, we all know it's killed a bunch of people. A whole bunch of people have been killed by either bricks being dropped from overpasses or rocks being thrown from bridges, or just like this, someone just pelted a rock and it killed the woman, and then she crashed into the home. So you got two victims here, the woman who died, her sister, and her home. I mean, someone's being protected though, because you can tell those signs that they had in the house. Let's see if we can find them here. The fact she has to write this type of thing and say, if you have camera image here, check your cameras, and no one's handed in anything, and everyone's like, oh, I don't know. Oh, rocks just, they often come from the sky. Yeah, would be concerned that someone is being protected here. I hope people take it seriously and check those cameras, and if you have something, you hand it in. They deserve answers to what happened to their loved one. It's really horrible. Yep, another Maria says, has her aunt accepted her husband's guilt? And she's talking about the Lynn family murders. I don't know. I don't know them. But from my viewing of the media and the case involved, no. Not when it was at court. She was actually the one who was helping fund and appeal his sentences at the time. She, as you saw in the video, she said, oh, he's a scapegoat and you got the wrong person. So I don't know if her view has changed over the last 10 years or more, but at the time she was in heavy denial that her husband had anything to do with the murders. So I don't know. It's something you would have to ask Brenda. And I'm not Brenda, so you would have to ask her directly whether her auntie has come around in the, what is it? It's almost 20 years, 18 years this year. Feels like yesterday. It really does. I remember seeing that in the paper when it happened, and people were really scared at first. Everyone's like, 5 people killed in a home in this area. That area in Sydney is it's a heavily, there's a lot of Asian families who live there. It's got a fair bit of money, but a lot of them work very hard. They've got businesses, or like that family, they own the newsagent. They send their kids to private school and that type of thing. They're just trying to do the best they can. Yeah, so don't know. I can't answer your question, unfortunately. I don't know. You noticed the thumbnail image? That was Reby. Talk to Reby about that. What is this? Oh, that's that. Okay. Hold on. What number was it today? I can't remember what number it was. I think it was 300 and... we're up to like the 300s in our thumbnails right now. Reby went on a bit of a weird tangent with the what do they call them? Like stuffed toys or plush toys. She went on a bit of a rampage with stuffed toys. I wonder if I can find it so I can show people. There's a few here. She did dinosaurs too. What is this, Reby? What is this? $3.99. Let's have a look. $3.99. Here's one for the future. I have no idea what she did here. What is this? Reby, you're going to have to explain this one to us. It looks like a frog and a dinosaur are sharing a jail cell. And he looks like he might be a gangster dinosaur. He's got a beanie on. There you go. I don't know what that's about. There you go. She went on a bit of a tangent, but it's fun. I like it. All right, let's do some more true crime. Let's get you your show that you so desperately want. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. A Detroit man found guilty in murder? Murder of 17-year-old cousin, Zion Foster. All right. I'll do that one.
Well, after listening to a week and a half of testimony, a jury needed less than an hour of deliberation today to convict Jalen Brazier of murdering his cousin, Zion Foster. Sean Lay has been following the trial every day and joins us now with more on the verdict and the reaction from Zion Foster's mother. Sean.
Let's start with the mother. She's very, very important here. Sierra Milton. Look, guys, the jury went to go deliberate, and I didn't see them coming back in 30 minutes or less. Big time. Absolutely did not see that coming with so much evidence they were presented with that they had to go over little details, all mapping out. Great job by the prosecution linking this murder to her cousin. So Zion Foster's mother first wants to talk about the jury. She says someone became Zion's voice. She needed to be heard, and today the jury became that voice.
Thank you so much for looking at the facts, for not being distracted, for not allowing yourselves to be deceived.
Sierra Milton is the mother of Zion Foster. Her daughter's life, her dreams, her voice were taken from her in January of 2022. She went to watch TV with her favorite cousin, Jalen Brazier. She was never heard from again. Her body has never been found, and despite having no remains of Foster, today a jury took just minutes to find Brazier guilty of murdering Zion and dumping her body in a dumpster. Prosecutors taking days to link Brazier to Zion's killing through his internet searches, his changing story. With so much on the line for Assistant Prosecutor Ryan Elsie, in closing arguments today, he hammered home to the jury every element, he says, that shows Brazier is a murderer.
He should have made sure her body was found the very next morning, because that would have exonerated him.
Defense attorney for Jalen Brazier, Brian Brown, argues there is nothing that links Brazier to Zion's actual death. There's no.
I don't think it would have exonerated him. I don't think you can just be like, aha, here's a body, and just be like, I'm free. I don't think it works like that. No, I don't agree with that guy. But it would have been nice for the family to be able to locate her quickly. Dancing boy night. I don't think we do that here. I don't think. Do you see a strip club pole here? I don't see any strip club poles here. I mean, I didn't take any LSD today, so I'm not hallucinating, but you might be. Yeah, this is an awful story, but it's really interesting that the jury came back in minutes. What does that tell you? That tells you that they had a fair idea during the trial, and that they had agreement throughout the trial, and that they didn't have a lot of dissension throughout their, throughout the days. I think that shows they were a cohesive unit, which is pretty rare in juries. I mean, a lot of times you have people that are on one side or the other, and it takes a while for them to come together. But this one, minutes, right? It's just to my right. Which way is... This is my right here. There's nothing here. I've got no arm. Look, it goes into the portal. See? Look, portal. Booty fog? We haven't used that word in a long time. That's a Lori Vallow verb. It's just to my right. Yeah, here it is. Look, I'm touching the stripper pole. You guys just can't see it. Yeah, this is we should be more serious. Ping. This is a serious topic. You are distracting from a very serious issue, and I'm gonna unsubscribe from you, Ping. You're gonna unsubscribe. All right, let's listen to the rest of it.
No body, there's no blood, no witnesses to an attack, no evidence of a crime. And says Zion's boyfriend testified that Zion suffered from undiagnosed seizures.
Because it is very reasonable, based upon the testimony from Vertaz, that he knew she had a history of seizures.
And then, Sierra, your message for Jalen Brazier.
You thought she was just a run of the mill, and you thought that she didn't matter to us, and you were mistaken.
Back here live, Brazier to be sentenced now on June 3rd. So Kim Worthy, Wayne County prosecutor, had a lot on the line with this trial. She says their investigators did not give up on this case for 18 months, linking each piece of evidence. So many pieces they had to find, break down, and then link to Brazier. She says that was the work that we saw there in court today, resulting in the guilty verdict. And again, Brazier will be sentenced on June the 3rd. We'll be there.
So we have to come back June the 3rd and find out what his sentence for this murder and disposal of his 17-year-old cousin's body. We talk a lot about recovery of bodies from landfill, and it's a weird topic that I don't know why I've been sucked into it. I did one show on it. Now everyone thinks somehow I'm an expert in it, but I'm not. But it is interesting that they were unable to, or they're not able to pinpoint it enough. Yeah, see, it says here, he initially told police he hadn't seen Foster at all and even helped her mother put up missing flyer posters in the neighborhood. To me, that is the ultimate when a murderer does like a heinous crime like this, and then they go and help the family. To me, that is like twisting the knife, right? It really is, because you're so close to the family, you're acting like you're caring to them. It's really disgusting. Says here he eventually told police that Foster stopped breathing while they were smoking marijuana. I don't believe that for a second. Yeah, because that happens all the time. I've seen that about 50 times. It happened to me. I was smoking marijuana, I stopped breathing, I had to get CPR. I don't believe that. Something else happened. All right, it says here he panicked and drove her body to a dumpster in Highland Park. A weeks-long search in area landfills did not recover her body. So either he's lying about location, or they're not able to pinpoint it to a small enough area where they can find it. We did a one in Canada, actually a couple of landfill cases in Canada, and they said after the first month, your success rate drops 10% for every month that you leave it after that. Every month after that, you lose 10% chance of recovering remains from a landfill. It's really, really a time-based thing, and you really have to know where to look. Like, they do it in sections. So when they dump trash, they do it in like these layers. They're almost like a I don't know how to explain it, but like this. Sort of like this symbol on the like that. They sort of stack them side to side, left to right, and then they build on top of it and they keep going. Yeah, there must have been a reason they weren't able to get it. Either he lied about what area he dumped her in, and that's why their search came up with nothing, or they just weren't able to pinpoint it. The reason the Canada one might be successful, they stopped dumping rubbish in that location because they knew the bodies were there. So that location has not had any more trash added to it since I think it's the first couple of weeks of the murders, the one in Canada. So they think they have a high success rate in finding the two victims that were placed in the dumpsters very close to each other, and they think they can find it. But this one might be a little bit different, and that's why they can't find it. They said Foster's family reported her missing on January 10th, 2022, and she was last seen on January 4th. When he picked her up at her East Point home, he was arrested 3 weeks later and charged with lying to police about her disappearance after investigators linked him to her via cell phone. He served 10 months of a 23-month sentence before being charged with murder in June 2023. He initially told police he hadn't seen Foster at all, and even helped her mother put up missing flyers posters in the neighborhood. They're saying here during the trial, prosecutors produced dozens of witnesses who linked him to Foster's death, as well as absolutely pervasive sexually explicit texts sent to his cousin. So put your hand up in chat if you believed that she died from stopped breathing when smoking marijuana, or do you believe this may have been a sexually motivated attack and he tried to probably have sex with her, and she denied his advances, and then he probably killed her somehow, strangled her or something. I'm just trying to read this bit here. They said this tells you what was on the mind of Zion. This tells you what his intentions were when he brought her to his house late at night on January 4th, behind the back of his pregnant girlfriend who was at work. He brought Zion over to his house late that night. She leaves that house in the trunk of his car on a night where he has an unexplained gash on his neck. An unexplained gash on his neck. Where have we seen that before? I know where we've seen that before. The Baden Clay trial. Do you guys remember Baden Clay? Baden Clay had these gashes on his face from after he killed his wife. She was scratching at his face, I'm guessing, while he manually strangulated her, and he had all these cuts all over his face. Hold on. I'll show you. There you go. You can see these kind of cuts on his face. He tried to originally say these were caterpillar marks. What the hell? What kind of caterpillar does that? He also tried to say he cut himself while shaving. Man, I've had some pretty bad shaving cuts. I don't shave anymore. I have a beard, but I've never seen a razor that turns corners. Have you? That does an S shape. I've never seen that razor before. Must be a very rare razor that he has that no one else seems to have access to. No, these are fingernail marks from a woman trying to fight for her life and get as much, you know, DNA under her fingernails in case he kills her. Just trying to scratch at him and try and get free. This guy was an absolute, you know, you know what I need? I need a beep button. Someone, we're going to make one so I can swear, because I swear a lot in real life, and I need like like Linus on Tech Tips has a button where you press it and it goes beep, beep. I need that. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Good to see you. What a beautiful lady, right? She tried so hard to save her own marriage. She would not give up. She knew he was a absolute piece of crap. She knew about his cheating, knew about just everything, lying to her, not being committed to their relationship, all sorts of things, and she still wanted to make it work. She was the one pushing for reconciliation. She was the one pushing for marriage counseling. She wanted to make the marriage work. It was him that had no interest, and yeah, I think she tried everything she could to try keep her marriage together for the sake of the children and for herself. And I think she did it in a way that she just wanted to do the best for everyone. But this guy decided he had what was it, like a July 1 deadline that he told his mistress that he was going to leave Allison for her, and he killed her, dumped her body under a bridge, and yeah. To me, I don't think you do that to someone you love. You don't dump their body under a bridge. She was also, unless he was having a stroke while shaving, right? Yeah, she was really she was going to be very different, but I think he convinced her, and he was in debt too, like severe debt. His real estate business should have been pulling in absolute bank, and he was actually $1 million in debt. A million? How do you get $1 million in debt in real estate? How does that work? I mean, you get a percentage of every sale that you do. You get fees from every rental every month. You should never be in debt in real estate. You should be pulling in cash. It says here, DJ said, I think Barry Morphew had scratches on his arm. Yeah, I think so too. If you ever want to, hold on. There's a pretty good documentary about Jared Baden Clay and Allison. I can't remember what it's called, but it does detail everything, and it even has the mistress in it. I don't like calling her that. I think for at least part of it, she's a victim as well, a victim of Baden Clay, Jared. I think she got suckered in with his bull crap as well. Yes, she was the other woman, but blame the guy who was in a marriage, not the woman who was not in a marriage, right? Blame this guy. This guy's the one who was married. Blame him. He's the one who murdered her. Blame him. Yeah, Tony. Yeah, she seems. I watched a documentary with her on, might have been 60 Minutes or something, and she kind of detailed her, like what happened after the court case, what happened when she found out that Allison had gone missing. And I believe her. I believe that she didn't know, but Yeah, that's all I'll say. I know there's a lot of people who think she was involved. There's a lot of people that believe that she helped dump the body. So, but I sort of, after I watched that documentary, I sort of believed at least she was telling the truth with some of it. So you make up your own mind. You watch. Actually, I'll find it. Potter says the landfill reminds me of Josh Sharp and poor Anna Kemp and their baby. I don't know that one. John Sharp and Anna Kemp. I got to look that up. I don't actually know that one. Hold on. Do you want to look it up? We can. It's Saturday night. We're not doing too much here. Chad said, I've never passed out from weed. Have you never stopped breathing from weed? It's such a common issue, Chad. I mean, it happens every day. Every day, medical professionals out there revive people from smoking weed. They just stop breathing. It's like nitrous oxide. All right, hold on. I'll find this one. What's it called? John, not Josh. John Sharp and Anna Kemp. All right, hold on. I don't know this one. Yeah, this is before my time. Australian man John Miles Sharp killed his pregnant wife, New Zealander Anna Marie Kemp, and their 20-month-old daughter Gracie in the semi-rural suburb of Mornington, Victoria. Wow, that's only like 20 minutes from me. In 2004. Yeah, it's before my time. Authorities say Sharp repeatedly fired a spear gun into the heads of his victims, later exhumed the body of his wife from a shallow grave, dismembered her, then disposed of her body in a landfill. It takes a real kind of monster to spear gun someone to death, including a baby, and then exhume their body from a shallow grave, dismember them, and then dispose of them in a landfill. That's some warped and twisted stuff. Here's a photo of them. Not a great photo, but there's a photo nonetheless. Another landfill case. That's why Potter brought it up, because we were talking about landfills before. Kathy Lynch says, I'm late. I had to finish a John Wayne movie. Oh, okay. So it was like 4 hours long. It was about cowboys. Okay. And front the media saying she ran away with another man. You're talking about Baden Clay or this one? I mean, I think that's a common excuse. A lot of men who murder their wives say. We heard it in probably Baden Clay. We heard it in, there's a real famous one I'm thinking of. The teacher whose wife has never been found. He said the same thing. He said, "Oh yeah, she our marriage was down on the rocks, and she just must have took off with another man." They never found the body of that woman. That's the one the podcast The Teacher's Pet is based on. Chris Dawson, that's it. Yeah, he said his wife ran away. He said a few things. He said one, she ran away with another man. One, she was staying in a different place. One, she went shopping. I don't know. I think he's full of crap. Yeah, she ran away to join a cult. I mean, the way I look at it is this. You change your story even once, and I don't believe you anymore. Like, people who know the truth don't tend to migrate their story over time. They just tell you the same thing. A couple of words might be different. The way they explain it might be slightly different. But the base of their information is exactly the same, because that's what the truth is. It's the same information every time. People who migrate and they flux and they side to side and they don't stay on that narrow. Yeah, hi, is she here? Hi, I didn't see. Is that documentary called Killer Husband? No. The documentary I watched was called something else. Potter says, sorry, Ping, you don't count. If you're a male, I don't believe you. Well, if you have a male and a missing wife, probably not. We won't believe you. Although I did caution everyone when that woman went missing in Ballarat to just whoa Nelly and just hold on for a minute, because there wasn't enough information to get a rounded opinion on what happened with her. And I kept telling people, just slow down, just wait just a little bit longer. And we found out it had nothing to do with the husband. And I was like, you know, I know that's what the statistics say. It says, oh, 95% of the time it's the husband or whatever. I get it, but you have to form that opinion based on some sort of fact and knowledge. You can't just be like, oh, it's my gut feeling, it's definitely the husband. And that time, just something didn't seem right. It seemed like there was something off. And I will tell you, I had several emails from people claiming to be inside sources of information from Ballarat telling me, oh, it's definitely the husband and this and that. I won't name and shame them. I don't do that. But I will say, I take anything people give to me as inside sources with a giant boulder of salt, unless you can give me something that can verify who you are and what your relation to the crime is. I just treat you like any other commenter, because I can't verify your information. But I had a couple of people email me telling me, oh, it's definitely the husband. There's some sort of like stuff going on. You just don't know about it. And I was like, nope, no. And then we got a press conference the next day saying, oh, we arrested a dude based on it. So, Leisha, hey, good to have you. I hope you're feeling better today. Hey, Utah, how are you? Good to have you. All right, shall we do some more crimes? Let's come back in, what does it say here? Is it June 3rd? Let's come back June 3rd and find out the sentence for the killing of Zion Foster. Let's come back. I'm going to put this in my date book on my computer, and we're going to come back and find out what kind of sentence did this guy get. Hold on, what's this? Hold on, I just want to check something. It's just court update. Okay, I'm going to give this link in the chat. If you want to know more about the murder of Zion Foster, you can find it here. It has a couple more court videos for you. I'll put it on the screen in case the chat does not work. And I'll leave it there for a little bit. Otherwise, people won't be able to see it. Hey, Kim, how are you? All right, let's continue. Let's find the information. Let's see what we got. By the way, I could do like a 2-week podcast on the Lynn murders. I won't, because I'm not a podcaster, but hold on. What is going on here? Oh. So apparently there's breaking news out of Sydney. Elizabeth Street, Sydney police officer is stabbed in broad daylight. A police officer has been rushed to hospital after being stabbed in broad daylight. The officer was attacked next to the Anzac Memorial in Hyde Park on Elizabeth Street in Sydney about 1 p.m. on Sunday. It was about an hour ago. He was taken to St Vincent's Hospital after receiving non-life-threatening head injuries. A New South Wales police spokesman confirmed a 33-year-old man has been arrested and taken to the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital for assessment. There's some photos of the scene. Why is there 2 naked people on my sidebar? I run a nudist resort, and these are the do's and don'ts of getting naked at a holiday retreat and how erections are dealt with. We don't need to read that. It says here, images from the scene show about a dozen police officers and paramedics treating a man before he was put on a stretcher and into an ambulance. There is no ongoing threat at the scene. Okay, so it seems like they're trying to say maybe it was someone who was mentally unwell because they was taking him for assessment. Police on a bike. I see a bike. Yeah, I see some sort of something there. Like maybe not the police was on the bike. Maybe he was on the bike. There's a bike there. Maybe it was a. It doesn't look like a police bike. They have like all the fluoro and the police insignia on it. So I don't think maybe it's his bike. I saw something there. All right. Good for you. I'm not going to a nude resort. I don't have my summer body yet. I don't have my bikini body. When I have my bikini body, then I might go. But right now, I do not have a summer body. It's winter here. I'll start getting articles soon that says, get your bikini body for summer. And I'll be like, maybe in November. Gail Russell. I don't know who that is. All right. That was your breaking news out of Sydney. Ooh. What's this one? A former Arkansas high school teacher has been sentenced to 13 years in federal state prison for transporting a minor across state lines for unlawful sexual activity. Heather Hare, 33, initially indicted last August on charges of interstate travel for sexual activity by coercion and transporting a minor for criminal sexual activity. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Arkansas, she has agreed to plead guilty on the second charge, and the first one was dismissed. Teachers who have sex with their minor students should take note of today's sentence. Ms. Hare, which reflects the consequences of abusing her position of trust and taking advantage of the vulnerability of this minor to repeatedly engage in unlawful sexual activity. Our office will continue to hold accountable those who are in a position of trust that target children and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. All right, let's have a look at Heather Hare. Here's a photo of her. There you go. It's concerning to see the uptick in female the female abusive position that we're starting to see. It's either being reported a lot more or the reporting on it is a lot more. I don't know which one. I'd have to look at the crime statistics to like by year to see. I think it's a little odd that we're seeing a lot more of it though. Yes, my bikini body with my Spanish accent. The girls will go wild for it in Madrid. Hey, Utah, how are you? Yeah, we've had there was one in England this week. We did it last night. There was that woman in England. What do they call her? Bunda Becky. Bunda Becky means, she's got a big butt, I think. Hold on, I'll find it. Yeah, she's was given the nickname Bunda Becky by students. We showed her last night. Here she is. And then there was like 2 or 3 in Australia just in the last few months. There was a woman in Sydney that got done for a sexual relationship with a student. She said, I can't remember what she said. It was something like that. Oh, I was vulnerable at the time. I just had a breakup with my husband, and doesn't give you the right to prey on children. Kathy says you got to work on that summer tan. I live in a country where we have the highest rate of melanoma in the world. I'm happy being my pasty self, and I'm happy to not die of melanoma at the age of 50. So, yeah. Did you guys know that Australia is one of the worst places for the sun because we have a hole in the ozone layer and it burns the crap out of us every time we step outside? So, I think it's repairing though. I read something like it's starting to repair. Angela says, I'm glad my kids aren't in school anymore. Yeah, I think the lines of, like when I was in school, teachers were teachers and they were considered adults and authoritarians. I don't remember, even in high school, I don't remember any rumors of, all our teachers were pretty average. I don't remember any hot teachers at my school. Maybe I just went to a school that didn't have any. But I don't remember any teachers that even look like this. So even I think she's sort of, not my type. What's with the eyebrows? I never know why this is a fashion in England. these sort of really chunky eyebrows. It's a weird thing in England. They all have it. It's there. She's got different eyebrows there too. But yeah, she got done for. She got pregnant. She had the baby, and then they did a court order to remove the baby from her care. And then during the court, she tried to do this. Where is it? I think I deleted it. She kept a baby's bonnet in her waist at court to try and. There you go. There it is. I think you could see it better on the other page. There you go. That pink baby's bonnet thing. She tried to keep that in her waistband to try and compel the jury to find her innocent. Kim68 said half my teachers were nuns. That makes sense. Ours weren't. I didn't go to a private school. I like his later movies, the ones he does now, like Gran Torino. They're much better. She doesn't have the baby. It's in like CPS care. Apparently, she'll probably be sentenced to jail, I reckon. She gets to see the baby. I think it's a few times a week for 3 hours at a time. That's it. That's all. She doesn't get to care for the child at all. Kathy Lynch says, I did not know Australia had the highest rate of skin cancer. Yep, we do, because of how strong the sun is down here. Yeah, so no, she doesn't have the baby. Angela said, all the girls had a crush on one of our married PE teachers. I knew him outside school and didn't get it. Yeah. Only had one nun? Hey, one nun is enough. You just need one. All right, hold on. All right, let's find some other stories. What do we got? Two children hit by speeding car, one in critical condition. What was that? WAVE. That's concerning. 7-year-old in critical condition, 13-year-old in hospital after being hit by a car in Jacobs neighborhood. They say 2 children are in hospital after being hit by a car in the Jacobs neighborhood Saturday afternoon, according to the Louisville Metro Police. They said around 3:25 p.m. officers were called to the 3600 block. An initial investigation and witness statement showed a car was driving fast when it hit a 7-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl who happened to be in the street. The driver initially stopped, but police said he did not help the children. EMS were called to the scene and both children were taken to Norton Children's Hospital. The boy is facing life-threatening injuries, but the girl is expected to survive. An off-duty Jefferson County deputy sheriff found the driver and the car not too far from the scene and detained him. Police say he will be facing charges. The name of the driver and the charges have not been released at the time of publication. Okay. Interesting. I hope the child survives. The 7-year-old boy, life-threatening injuries right now. The 13-year-old is apparently okay. Yeah. I'll try and get an update when I can, but they didn't release any names. So hold on. This was updated 5 hours ago. Let's check their main website. Yeah, there's no update right now. Yeah, that's all. All right, I did save a story from last night. Let me find it. No, we're not going to do that. Actually, I did want to show you this. This is an old story. I didn't get to do it as quickly as I would have liked. But I remember I showed you that tornado in WA, and I was like showing you how tornadoes do happen here. They're just not that common. Apparently, the family of a 4-year-old girl who was battling a very serious health condition their home was destroyed in the tornado, and they were already having like really bad money issues trying to get her therapy and help and maybe surgery. They said her name is Grace. This is a photo of her here. They say she suffers from a condition where she constantly has like um what do you call it? Like seizures. And they say she's experiencing memory loss and confusion for almost 2 months now, repeatedly forgetting who her dad, her two sisters, and her mother are. So every morning they have to reintroduce themselves to her in case she forgets overnight. And I can't imagine how difficult then to lose your home after learning that she had this condition. They said the family are on the waiting list to see a specialist team at Perth Children's Hospital as Grace's condition worsens every day. The cost of assessments are unimaginable, they said. And yeah, they had to end up setting up a GoFundMe. I wonder what they ended up getting for it. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. The community sort of rallied around. It's not a ton of money, but this is a bit of money. About just shy of 20 grand. Off-Road Trucks Australia donated $3,000. Off-Road Trucks Australia, that is a very kind donation. They said, "Hi, my name is Tia. Our daughter is Gracie. Gracie received her 4-year-old vaccinations on February 12th. The day after, on February 13th. Hold on. Wow, she went through a really bad thing. Apparently, she got her 4-year-old vaccination and had a bad reaction to it. And they found her. They said, when my partner and I picked up her from school, she was unconscious and had soiled herself with saliva and foam dried on her cheeks. She was rushed to emergency department with a temperature over 41 degrees and no response. She was placed into a resuscitation bay where she bravely underwent medical attention. Damn, and now she's experiencing memory loss, and during seizures, she's had 4 major grand mal seizures and countless minor mal seizures over the past few weeks, during which she loses control of her physical self and her memories. She had one that lasted over 2 minutes, and she doesn't know where she is. She's like, "Where am I? Am I being squashed?" And they're trying to, oh wow, what a horrible condition. Here's a photo of her. Oh, what a cute girl. They're saying thank you for all the donations from people across Australia and the world. Yeah, how horrible to have your house destroyed by a tornado that don't really happen here. Like, they just don't really occur in Australia that often. And you've already having this horrible health thing with your child. And then you're just like, great. Really? You just hate us. You want my child to be sick. And now you destroy my home. Like, what other kind of barriers are you going to throw up in my way? I don't know what's going on. Someone sent me a message, and I was like, it's unrelated to this. We're not an anti-vax channel, so we're not a pro-vax channel either. We're a follow the evidence channel. That's all I'll say. Potter64 says, okay, PCH is new. Is that the hospital, Perth Children's Hospital? Hopefully she'll be able to get some good help there with her condition. They didn't actually say what the condition is. I'm not even sure if they know. They just said that that's what happened, and it's really sad that they have to sort of reintroduce themselves to her in the morning in case she forgets who they are. Yeah, it's really sad. But yeah, see, last Friday, more than 100 homes were damaged by a destructive storm that swept through parts of Bunbury in Western Australia's south, which was a tornado. They say Alan and Tia lived in one of the homes that was destroyed by the tornado, which struck parts of the coastal town about 4 p.m. They said it was a cruel blow for the family who's been raising funds to pay for their 4-year-old daughter Grace's medical costs after she suffered seizures in February. That's very sad. She gets memory loss from them. I think it's horrible for a little child to have to go through.
I do hope you'll go from strength to strength in the future with the Prince
Hold
of
on.
Wales as
Why is
your
Prince Charles
new
talking?
Commander-in-Chief.
There we go. I didn't either. I just said that we just don't talk about that here. There's other channels where you can do that. No, she's still in Bunbury, I think. I think she's still well, I don't know where she is now because their house got destroyed. I don't know where they're staying, it doesn't say, but they are waiting to be admitted to Perth Children's Hospital. They're waiting on that. See, we have been advised to wait for a specialist team at PCH. So they're not at PCH just yet. They're waiting to get admitted. Chase Hughes from the behavior panel has that. Does he? That's very sad. All right. So that was in my saved things. While we're doing children, let's have a look. Did anyone go to the memorial for Asher Sullivan today? Hey, what? No. Oh, no. I hate to be the ones to tell you this. Boy who was swept into Rutherford County storm drain officially passed away, family says. It was just this evening that they were going to do the memorial, the vigil for him. More than a week after the son of Rutherford County's director of schools got caught in a storm drain and was swept under the streets following severe weather, the boy's family announced he has officially passed away. Dr. James Sullivan posted the following update about his son, 10-year-old Asher, on Facebook at 10 p.m. on Saturday. Asher officially passed away this afternoon around 1:20 p.m. I say officially because the events of the last 36 hours Okay, he said 1.7. Okay, so apparently he had one brainstem reflex remaining the last few days that kept him from officially being declared brain dead / deceased. The doctors had told us they didn't expect that reflex to go away, but that further improvement beyond maybe a finger moving was not possible. That left Casey and I with an impossible decision that deep down we knew we wouldn't make. We asked for an additional MRI, and that was conducted late Thursday. Casey and I met with the neurologist a few rooms away from Asher around 11 p.m. on Friday morning to have an in-depth discussion. The MRI actually showed further progression of brain damage from 5 days earlier. While we were away, Asher's vitals crashed, his blood and blood pressure became erratic, he lost the ability to control temperature, and the eye response ceased. Our sweet boy did what Asher has always done. He put others first. No longer did Casey and I have to make an impossible decision. Instead, he made it for us while we were out of the room. The doctors performed two extremely in-depth tests that showed that Casey and I watched separated by 24 hours. No parent should have to watch this, but we knew for our hearts we had to. The results showed us what we already knew, that our sweet Asher was already gone. They said they're brokenhearted, mad, and every other emotion at the same time. They said they're still at Vanderbilt as we've decided to have Asher bring life to others as an organ donor. He remains on life support because of that decision for a few days. It's 100% an Asher type of thing to do and continuing to be selfless. He will have an honor walk at the hospital in the next few days and be celebrated as he is a hero. Wow, that's not the update. That's not the update I was hoping for tonight. That's really crap. I was really hoping for some sort of like turnaround or miracle or some sort of modern science, but I don't know. I guess we sort of heard days and days ago that they didn't believe recovery was possible. How horrible. Yeah. Did they end up doing does anyone know if they ended up doing the vigil today or not? Or did they not do it because of his condition? I would have to look. Hold on. I don't have Facebook. Let me check James Sullivan. That was only 1 hour ago that they announced the death of Asher Sullivan. 1 hour. I don't have it. I don't know if the vigil end up going ahead or not. I don't have anything. Yeah, I can't find anything. So maybe they called it off. That puts to rest a really horrible week for that family. I really was, I was looking at the updates every single day, hoping that, we were going to see like, oh, he showed signs of improvement. It might be a few more days or weeks, but it's going to be a long recovery. But no, unfortunately, it's really kind of his family to try and help others in a time of absolute disaster and sorrow and sadness, but to try and help other little children or humans, maybe even adults, with donation of organs to help other people. Yeah, that's not the news any of us were hoping for. Look on Kresha. May have posted something. Okay. Let me look up my friend Kresha. Oh, is she on right now? Does anyone know if she's still live? I can see her in my Twitter. Yeah, she's on right now. I can see her in Twitter. I don't want to annoy her while she's doing a live stream. If she's out there, if anyone's in both channels, hold on. Tell Kresha I say hi, and I'm sorry to hear of the news about Asha, and then I'll contact her privately after the live show. Says she's on. Yeah, surprise live, comparing dark arts beliefs to mainstream. Maybe it's an old live stream, but it says here on my thing she's on. It's pretty late for her to be on, right? It's like, what is she in New Orleans? It's like, oh, it's only like 10 to midnight. All right, let's do one more story and then I'm going to get out of here for the night. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday Nights with Ping. That is a great show. We do like 2.5 hours on a Sunday. That'll be a really long show. And I have a whole bunch of stories built up with Sunday night. And let me get one more for tonight. Let me see. Do I have anything else from people that they want me to do? I will actually. No, that's all right. Four-year-old killed in violent Sandy. Okay. Apparently, they did end up releasing the name of the 4-year-old that was killed at that property in San Antonio. But I'm just trying to see if there's an update on it. Kind of follow. So if you remember, I showed you a video last week in Bexar County, and they were showing two guys leave a vehicle. They came around the corner and just started opening fire on a property, and it killed the 4-year-old child. Yeah, a week after the brutal shooting on Northside that claimed a 4-year-old girl. All right. It was this one. I'll show you, and then I'll read the update.
4-year-old child is dead after gunfire ripped through a Northeast Side home, seriously injuring 4 others inside the home, including 2 children. This all happened Wednesday evening on Windsor Hollow Drive near Walsham Road. KENS 5's Mike Jimenez joins us live with the details and video of the shooting caught from a neighbor's house. And we do want to warn you, it may be hard to watch. Mike.
Well, Audrey, we are here at the Bexar County Sheriff's Office where we are awaiting a press conference to begin where Sheriff Javier Salazar will give us an update into yesterday's shooting. Now, we did go out to the neighborhood this afternoon and spoke with a neighbor who says it's normally a quiet and peaceful neighborhood, and the children who were shot were playing outside before the shooting happened.
First, like 5 or 6 loud pop, 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 and then pop, 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 and then I looked over at my son, and he looked at me, and I like, what was that?
Joanne Lewis said she had just gone inside around 7:40 Wednesday evening when she heard the gunfire.
That has destroyed the peace in this neighborhood right there.
Door camera videos shared by the Bexar County Sheriff's Office show a gray car drive up on Windsor Oaks, park alongside the road. That's when 2 men jump out, ran up to the front of the duplex, and fired.
It's a miracle we're not dealing with 5 dead bodies right now.
5 people inside the home were shot, including 3 children under the age of 10. They were all taken to the hospital in serious condition. A 4-year-old died from her injuries. Deputies say it was a targeted attack.
There was some information that there was some words exchanged with somebody that we believe to be a suspect. And there was actually some inquiries being made as to whether there were kids in the house.
Sheriff Salazar says the 2 men seen shooting into the duplex could be facing capital murder charges.
Because you just took a life that's just beginning. You didn't even think. You weren't even thinking about. You didn't care.
Now, we are just minutes away from that press conference beginning. We will be streaming it on our Facebook account and on KENS5.com. And be sure to stay tuned with us for the 5 and 6 o'clock.
So apparently they didn't release the name of the girl for a long time. DJ sent me a thing that says, where is it? They apparently released the name of the woman, the 4-year-old. Hold on. Where is it? Come on. News story. They said the county medical examiner has released the identity of the 4-year-old girl. Her name was Mary Ann Marble. That was the 4-year-old that was shot in that shooting that you just saw. Neighbors described her as one of 4 children in her household, often seen playing out the front, as their father kept a close eye from the family's front driveway. The neighbor said they weren't bothering nobody. That's very strange what happened. They're a very quiet family. I've been here 3 years and I watch everything. She watches everything. Even though I'm half blind, I watch everything. She keep an eye on you. They say they'll just be playing in the parking lot. But that's the one thing. If they're up this way, that father's out there standing looking. He's out there looking and making sure they're safe. So it sounds like the father kept a very close eye on them. So did that woman, apparently. She's like, I see everything. Yeah, I don't think there's any other information. Hold on. Let me see if there's a better update. That's her name. No, 5 hours ago. Nope. Yeah, I don't see another update. I don't think they've ever got suspects or anything right now. His shirt is distracting me. Yeah, I know. What a world to shoot a 4-year-old. Must feel like a big man for shooting a child. All right. Let me see if I have. We've got 5 minutes and then I got to go. So let's see if we got one more story. Let's see if we have one more. All right, another murder? All right, well, I guess we are a murder channel.
And the NYPD is now charging a 19-year-old man with the shooting death of 16-year-old Makai Brown in Soho. Police arrested Henry Thomas of East Village today. Police are still hunting for a second suspect. Brown was shot earlier this month when he tried to break up a dispute between 2 groups of girls from the Broome Street Academy Chart High School. The men involved in the shooting took off on a city bike.
All right, let me actually tell you what happened here. So a 19-year-old has been arrested and charged with murder in the fatal shooting of a 16-year-old in Soho. Henry Thomas was arrested Friday morning in Harlem. He is charged with murder as police continue searching for a second suspect in Marquis Brown's death. Brown was allegedly breaking up an argument between two Broome Street Academy charter high school students when someone pulled a gun and shot him in the head. They said that's just who he is. He's a loyal person. That's just something that was instilled in him, his father said. Officials said two men fled the scene of the shooting on a city bike. On Wednesday night, loved ones remembered the 16-year-old victim and pleaded for the end of gun violence. Brown was an outstanding high school student and basketball player who was already talking about playing college ball. Watching him from a baby, changing his pampers as he grew up to be a gentleman, loved school, loved sports, his auntie said. All right, let me see if there's an update quickly. His name is Marquis Brown. Okay. I don't see an update whether they actually arrested someone or not. Nope, I don't have an update. Oh, no, sorry. What am I talking about? Ping. Ping, you need to have a coffee. No, 19-year-old has been arrested and charged with murder. Ping, what are you talking about? It's time for you to go. Hold on. Let me get you from Fox 5 New York. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Arrest tonight in the deadly shooting of a teen in Soho. 19-year-old Henry Thomas was taken into custody a short time ago. He's facing murder charges, accused of shooting and killing 16-year-old Mekhi Brown back on May 7th. The gunfire breaking out in broad daylight. Police say Brown was hit in the head and leg. He attended the Broome Street Academy Charter School and was apparently trying to break up a fight at the time.
There you go. At least the police were able to get one. So they must be looking for one more. Because they said two people left on that city bike. Danny Mitchell said, used to love NYC.
We begin tonight with breaking news out of the Bronx, where a firefighter has been injured while battling a house fire. Sky Fox over the scene on White.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Firefighter. Sorry that you got injured doing your job. That's very sad. All right. Hey, let's round up for the night. If you want to go watch Crusher, I don't know what she's talking about. What is she talking about? Comparing dark arts beliefs to the mainstream. I don't know what that is, but she'll probably tell you good stuff if you go listen to her. If you want to know about LDS, Daybell, stuff like that, she's very good at it. Oh, it's about Chad? Yeah, there you go. She's great with that. Probably one of the best sources of information, her and a couple of other people, but she's really good. Go listen to her once I jump off. Team Rewatch. All right, I have to check one thing before we go, just so people don't get mad. Hold on. All right. Hey, I love you all. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. We'll be back here tomorrow. Someone asked about a time for tomorrow. It's probably going to be 10:30 since I don't have to compete with Trish for a later time slot. I can just come on at 10:30. So I'll be on at 10:30. Give your thoughts out there to Ash's family tonight. Asha Sullivan. I can't imagine what that family's going through. Really horrible. What's her channel? Her channel is Difficult Research. Hold on, I'll grab it for you. Yeah, go ahead to if you want. She's still going to be live for a little bit longer. So if you want to listen to some Daybell stuff, head to this channel I'm putting in the chat. I can't push redirect with her because she's a larger channel than I am, but I can tell you to go there. This is her channel address in the chat now. Head over to Kresha and have some fun for the rest of your night. And say hi to Kresha from me. Tell her Ping sent you, okay? And she'll get a kick out of that, I'm sure. Hey, I love you all. We'll be back tomorrow for Sunday Nights with Ping, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a great thing. Trials back on tomorrow for for Gregory Lynn. Gregory Lynn will be back in court tomorrow, and we'll have updates all throughout the day. So that's Monday here in Australia, Sunday night for you, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. Peace out, everyone. Good night.